Good evening, friends. Welcome. Welcome to our special webinar. You may have you in your school days and college time. You might have heard about evolution, and in our churches we hear about creation. And some of you maybe heard about, God used evolution process to make this world. So you may have doubts now, which is correct? Evolution is correct or not? Or creation is correct or not? Or God used the process of evolution to make this world or not? Which is correct? So if you have those kind of doubts, if you are in confusion, definitely today's class will be very useful for you. You are in the right program. Today, to clarify our doubts and to teach us the truth, we have a special guest speaker from Kerala. Our beloved guest speaker is Dr.K.Joy David sir. He has ME Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, has done PhD in Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur, was a professor of civil engineering for a number of years and was doing ministry among the college students. For past few decades, our dear guest speaker, Dr. K.Joy David sir, working as a missionary and planting many churches all over India. He authored some wonderful books, and his wife, Clarice Sandy, also has written a wonderful book. So they are, as a couple, they are doing wonderful service to the Lord and doing wonderful ministry. So I'm very glad to have our dear guest speaker, Dr. Joy David Uncle sir. Uncle, we heartfully welcome you to this program. Thank you for giving your valuable time. You can unmute now and speak, Uncle. You can unmute now and speak. Uncle, you can unmute your mic. Unmute your mic. 1 second. Okay, Uncle, now?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
All praise to God, and my loving greetings to all the dear friends who listen to me, who are interested in the origin of the universe and origin of life. It is very, very important and also very fascinating to study about the origin of the universe and also the origin of life in it. When we open our eyes, we find an orderly universe, and there is life in various forms all around. Why a clear understanding about origin is important? You see, if we have a wrong idea about the origin of the universe and origin of life, that affects our world vision, because that affects our thinking about our purpose in life. So we will just consider two important models today very prevalent regarding the origins. We have the evolution model, and also we have the creation model. I will try to explain them, and then we'll say some of the scientific fallacies in the theory of evolution. And also, if there is some time, I will explain how science not only agrees, but supports the creation model that is given in the Word of God, the Bible. So first of all, let us see what is the theory of evolution. A word about theory and a scientific law. We have the theory of evolution. What is a theory? A theory is an explanation of a phenomena supported by some data. It is an explanation of a phenomena supported by some data. But a scientific law is based on repeated experimental verification. So a scientific law is a statement based on repeated experimental observations and describes some aspects of the world. So we have the Newton's laws of motion, the laws of conservation of mass, etc., scientific laws that has been proved. But a theory is not a scientific law. It is an explanation. See, it is impossible to do experiments and repeated experiments in different parts of the world and prove either evolution or creation, because of the simple reason that we cannot reproduce the origin. It has already happened. So what is the way we can approach the problem? It is to evaluate the data available and fit into either evolution model or creation model, and see which model has more scientific validity in terms of the established scientific laws. In terms of the established scientific laws, which model has more validity? That is to be accepted. That is a general way we formulate a model or we establish a model. So what is the theory of evolution say? I will say some of the postulates of theory of evolution. Here, the beginning of everything, or the origin of everything, their growth or their meaning are all happening by natural process. Natural process. There is no person directing from outside. The laws embedded in the matter itself, if there are laws, the matter itself has to organize life and varied life forms. And also to begin with, the whole universe to be ordained. And there is no one behind, no intelligence behind. There is no control behind. So with that simple statement, I will try to say what is the theory of evolution. Around 1,380 crores of years ago, the whole universe was contained or condensed to a very tiny egg who had infinite density and infinite temperature. The evolution scientists call it a singularity. A singularity means a point where laws of physics are not applicable. And even space, time, these things are not applicable there. It is a singularity. So from that singularity, there was a big explosion that happened. And from this expansion, the whole universe came into being. The subatomic particles, then the atoms, and then the elements, and it goes on like that. And finally, they say that, the life somehow originated. And there is no real explanation how it happened, origin of life. I will come to it later. So what are the postulates of the evolution theory? The universe was created by itself. And life formed out of non-living matter. From non-living matter, life was formed. And that is what is called a spontaneous biogenesis. That is, life originated somehow itself, without anybody causing it. So therefore, all these scientists believe that, all these evolution scientists believe that life originated only once, and in other words, there was only one living cell, somehow formed crores of years ago. And from that cell, everything happened. All life originated in various forms. Then another postulate is this: the living beings evolve or progress from low order to high order. From the low order to high order. For example, viruses, they improve and become bacteria, then goes to the plants, and then animals, and then man. It goes on like that. So there is progressive evolution, improvement. So the evolutions give two reasons or two motives for this kind of improvement. One is mutation. Mutation is random changes that is happening in the genetic code. Random variations in the information that is contained in the cell, in its nucleus. And another reason for improvement, they say, is the natural selection. The survival of the fittest. The nature itself select the best. Then the another postulate is that that is easy, usually said, the man is the priest is evolved from monkeys. Another important aspect of evolution is this: what is called a uniformitarianism. Uniformitarianism means that the history of the evolution of the universe, or the history of improvement of the order of the living beings, should be explained not by any catastrophe. It is by natural laws that are working today, and it all worked always. In other words, there was no great catastrophe that ever happened to this earth. It was a slow process, uniform. That is, the laws that were there that time, it continues to be here. And there is no catastrophe to explain a particular change. And they also say that the earth is very old, and the human beings are very old, 30 to 70 lakhs of years, human beings. So this is the general aspects of the evolution. Then I will say something more about the origin of the universe itself. The evolutionist scientists try to give an explanation how all this began, this universe began. One I just explained, that is a Big Bang theory. The Big Bang theory. That is the most popular one now. The Big Bang theory is this. If you want to know who originated it, it is two great scientists in 1929, George Lemaitre and also Edwin Hubble. So as I said, this postulates a singularity. Yeah, singularity is a point where scientific laws are not applied, and that is why it is called singularity. Infinite density and infinite temperature, it exploded, and this universe came to being. And the time that is taken is 1 divided by 10 to the power of 33. Such a small fraction of time, it all happened. This theory is now usually accepted by the scientists. The theory of the Big Bang. So another theory that is prevalent is that is now discarded to some extent. It was postponed by Carl Sagan in 1960s. It says that, it is called the oscillating universe theory. The universe is oscillating. It means that there may be a Big Bang, singularity, which exploded, and the universe expands. And after some time, it crunches, just like a swing, from a point, it expands, and then it comes back. So there is a lot of contradiction, scientific contradiction in this law, in this proposal. So many people do not accept it, this oscillating theory. Then in 1950s, another theory was evolved, that is by Fred Hoyle and others. That is a steady state theory, the origin of the universe. The steady state theory says that the universe is always expanding, but it maintains a constant average density. How this constant density is maintained? Because matter is continuously created in the universe. So the universe expands, and as the stars go away, far away, there will be the density of the universe becomes less, but it is not allowed. Matter is somehow created. But this also it has a lot of scientific problems. Then the latest was given by that one of the greatest intellect of our century, that is Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking proposed a quantum gravity model. He eliminates the need of a Big Bang. Stephen Hawking says there is no need of a Big Bang. The reason is, if it began, it should have a creator, somebody to begin it. So it need not begin like that. So he says that the universe may be completely self-contained. In his language, in his words, it has no boundary or edge. It is only a theory. He did not say that is a reality. Please see that he did not say it is a reality. It is a proposal. There is no boundary or edge. And if there is no boundary or edge for the universe, then it would have no beginning and no end. There is no necessity of a beginning, no necessity of an end of the universe. But this also is not very popular in the scientific world, because Stephen Hawking used imaginary numbers, number to formulate this theory. The square root of -1 is an imaginary number. And he did not remove actually when the theory is formulated, this should be removed. the imaginary number should be removed, but he did not do that. The reason was that if the imaginary number is removed, it becomes the necessity of a singularity. That means a Big Bang. So with all these things, even now, people think that, most of the evolutionist scientists think that the universe came into being by an explosion. But there is either a lot of scientific difficulties even with this Big Bang. You see, some of the thing is this: if the whole matter in the universe is to be concentrated on a tiny egg, tremendous inner gravitational force, who caused it? And if it exploded, what is the cause of explanation? Without a cause, something never can happen. Who caused it? So it is very difficult. And also from an explosion, no orderly things will happen. You think about an explosion anywhere, in a factory or in a ground, anywhere. From an explosion is uncontrolled, and nothing orderly can happen. What is the earth? But it is so orderly, Our earth is so orderly. For example, think about the distance between sun and the earth. If we increase it by 25-30%, this earth will be frozen. And if we bring it nearer by 30%, then the human beings cannot live on it, So everything has an order. For example, there are hundreds of things like this. For example, the atmosphere that we have today, it has, particular amount of nitrogen, oxygen, everything. And how can all this happen by an explosion? Think about the anomalous expansion of water. The water has maximum density, we have a peculiar property for water at 4 degrees centigrade, maximum density. And if it is not, the fish cannot live in cold lands. So hundreds of like that, hundreds of like that. And they have many cosmological constants are there. The cosmological constants are very accurate, very, very definitely accurate. For example, that shows the relationship between the weak forces and the strong forces. And there are many constants like that. If we change a very little fraction, the universe will never exist. But the universe exists. So very simple reason, how can from an explosion, an orderly universe livable for human beings, earth and the sky and the other universe and stars and all this can happen. So that is what is calling fine-tuning in the explosion, fine-tuning in the Big Bang. This is a scientific word which shows that, somehow the cosmological constants were fixed by somehow, we do not know. And that is why the universe exists. This also so happen. So that's the main theory people believe now. This the Big Bang theory. Now I will say something about the creation model. Creation model postulates that everything that we have today, the universe and the living beings on this earth, were created at a particular time by a creator God who is infinitely wise, infinitely intelligent, and he did it. And there is an external cause, the omnipotent, omniscient, loving God who created all these things. So it also, the scientific model, the model of origin of the creation models says these things also. The postulates of the creation model, I will just tell. It is easy to understand. uh, the universe and life was created once by the Creator. And after the creation, the original creation, the kinds of living beings do not change. Kind. One kind of animal or plant cannot change into something else. It remains as such. But some of the kinds can vanish because of the changes in the climate and other things. But no new kind can happen. It only some of the kinds that God created must have vanished now because of many reasons, particularly the geographical reasons and many other things. But new kinds are not created. Then creation model also says that mutation and natural selections are not enough to evolve a high order organism from a low order organism. From a low order organism, just by mutation and natural selection, a high order one cannot be formed, because mutation is just random changes in the information contained in the nucleus of a cell, the reproductive cell. So a random mutation, random changes is called a mutation. Random changes in any information can only spoil that meaning of the information. But controlled and intellectual changes in any information is always good. That is what we have got genetic engineering today. New rice forms or not, wheat forms are all formed, that is not happening by itself. That is happening by intellectual controlled changes in the genes. But mutation left to itself is random, and it cannot create better or high order. Then a creation model also says that there has been many catastrophes on this earth. Those who read the Bible, for example, think about the Noah's flood, that there was a 1-year-old flood that submerged all the earth, and the earth was completely changed after that. So there have been catastrophes on this earth. And also it says that it is not necessary that the earth is so old, because there are other reasons for them to do that. So I just told about what is a basic idea about the evolution model, and also the creation model. Then I will say some of the scientific fallacies of the evolution model. See, if you think about the modern science, most of the brilliant scientists who were responsible for founding the modern science, they were all believed that God created everything. And the scientific investigation is to find out the order that God has put in the universe. And scientific research, they always took with the assumption that they are finding out the laws God has put in the universe, and they are finding the order of the universe. And so they were all happy in doing that. You must have heard about many of the brilliant scientists who founded the modern science. I will, for example, Francis Bacon, who created the scientific method. Francis Bacon, he died in 1626. Scientific method. Lord Kelvin, he is a person behind absolute temperature scale. Blaise Pascal, barometer. Louis Pasteur, biogenetic law, fermentation control, pasteurization, vaccination and immunization. Then Charles Babbage, calculating machine. James Simpson, chloroform. Carolus Linnaeus, classification system. Michael Faraday, electric generator and electrochemistry. Joseph Henry, electric motor, galvanometer, self-induction. William Ramsay, inert gas. Isaac Newton, calculus, binomial series, law of gravity, laws of motion. Samuel Morse telegraph. Johannes Kepler, Kepler's laws of planetary motion, describing the orbits, plans of the planets around. Robert Boyle, like that. So these, they range from some 1550 to 1900. These people were responsible for giving the foundations of the modern science. As I said, they all believe in a creator who created, and they had no difficulty. Even today, there are a lot of scientists, brilliant scientists, who believe that God created the universe and God created life on this earth. Don't think that, to be a scientist and to believe in creation is something bad, that is because that is very scientifically valid to believe in creation. I will tell some of the scientific fallacies of the evolution model, some important things. You see, how life is formed is the most important. You see, before we consider life forms, evolution from one order to another, that is how a low order living being turned to a high order. Let us think about the origin of life itself. Origin of life itself. You see, today, scientists are trying to create a life in the laboratory. And if they succeed also, there is nothing wrong in that. But is something done in a laboratory, they have created, the scientists have created amino acids, many other, the basic life forms they have created. But the point is this. The point is this. Spontaneous biogenesis is different from scientists using all their intellect and control and trying to create life. They understand what is life from living beings, and they try to copy it and try to form life. So far, it is not succeeded. Even if it is succeeded, that is nothing. You see, that is a different matter. But the point, what I want to tell is that, you see, even now, today, no scientists believe that, life will form itself from a non-living matter. Non-living matter is there, energy is there. Just because of non-living matter and energy, by themselves, they cannot create life. But here the problem is in evolution is, how could the life be created? See, when Darwin proposed the theory, he was not much sure about, or at that time it was, the genetic code was not uncoded by that time. By that time. That is a reason, a few years ago, it happened, that is the genetic code, that is a law or information inside a cell that were decoded. The idea, say the genetic code, you must have heard about what is it is. In the reproductive cell, inside it, in the nucleus, we have all the information about that particular organism, how it should start, how should it grow. And all these are recorded in the in the nucleus in the form of carbon, with carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, elements like carbon, nitrogen, oxygen. And is a zygote is too small to see. But inside it is written all the information. So you think about a duck egg or a chicken egg, and you give the same temperature at the same time, under one particular, you hatch it by a chicken. Say a number of chicken egg, a number of duck egg, and you ask, you allow a chicken to hatch it. And from chickens, again, only chicken will come, and from the ducks egg will come. You think about any seed. You see, you have a seed that you put, and the information inside there, the software will come to open when the particular temperature is given. For example, water is given, and you see, inside a seed, everything is written so that seed finally will develop into a tree as written inside that seed. So this is a wonderful way in which we can understand that, the life processes are not random. It is all predetermined. It is all written. It all runs on information. It all runs on software. So what is recorded in a man's reproductive cell, it is quite different from what is recorded in the reproductive cell of an elephant or a monkey or whatever it is. And most of the scientists who try to decode this have been given Nobel Prize. F.S. Crick was the most important scientist who could decode some of this information. And he says, in the information that is contained in the cell of a person or a person, it contains at least, if you write it, 1,000 books having 500 pages. So much information is there, packed in a very, very tiny pointed zygote. And when a cell is divided, all this information are passed on to the new cells within 20 minutes. And there are many precautions to see that there is no error in it. Then there is translation mechanism. And there are a lot of other things that are happening inside a cell, to preserve this information and work out this information. So, you see, genetic code, if it is a random change, as I said, a genetic code contains information to develop that particular kind of plant or animal. So no other animal. And suppose there is some random changes in that information. If there is random changes in information, all the possibilities that, it does harm to the living being rather than any good. You also know computer, you have a software, and somehow it is malfunctioning, and there is the information contained is somehow lost. And you think that, the information will never improve, unless you using your intelligence change it, But in evolution, there is nobody to correct. It has to change itself. So random changes in information always, it is never an improvement. I will repeat. Random changes in a coded information cannot create an improved animal or living being. It can go down only. So it is impossible if if you know something about the genetic code, to believe that evolution progress with mutation, that is random changes in the genes information. There are 2-3 very important laws, scientific laws that have been proved that stand against the theory of evolution. One is the first law of thermodynamics. First law of thermodynamics. It says that in a closed system, matter cannot be created or destroyed. The one kind of energy can be changed to another, but matter can change to energy. Energy can change to matter. That is different. But you cannot create. So the question comes, how did the matter come into being? Or how did the energy come into being for the first instance? So matter cannot be created, energy cannot be created. We can change, that's all. Then the second law of thermodynamics also stands against the evolution model. What is the second law of thermodynamics? A system left to itself, if there is no outside intellect, if there is no intellectual control from outside, a system left to itself, as time passes, its order decays, or in other words, entropy increases. Entropy is a measure of the disorder in the universe. I will give an example of a scientist who gave a very simple explanation of what entropy is. This is given by a great scientist. I will just quote. And you think about, you have a very good room and you have the furniture of everything, and you neatly wipe the room and make it tidy, and open it and go. And after 1 year, you come and visit that room. You will definitely find that the order of the room has decreased, or the entropy has increased. So entropy has to be decreased if better or high order living things can happen. And that is something very, very, very important, because without external control, external intellectual control, you see, the entropy only will decrease. Entropy only will increase, or in the order decreases. Then how it is possible? So the randomness cannot create anything good. The reason is biochemical processes, the biochemical combinations or reactions, it is so complicated. If you want to go from one order to one higher order, there is also a possibility of going back. It can progress, it can go this way also, this way and that way also. So the random mutations and natural selections cannot guarantee that entropy is decrease. Entropy always increases, always increases. I think you understand what I say. For example, you write you say you create, you write on the sand, or with the paint, you write some information. For example, today is Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, and I allow natural forces to work over that. That information will never improve. You will get some other rugged and unintellectual information if you change the letters of the information. So mutation is changing the letters, randomly changing the letters. If you write anything, if you change randomly, allow the letters to change randomly, the information will never improve. That means from a low order organism, a high order organism cannot evolve itself, because As you go higher, there is continued decrease of entropy is required. But entropy, according to the second law of thermodynamics, it always increase. So there is always the need of intellectual control if you want to do that. And the evolution model doesn't support any control from outside. Then, can one who believes in the Bible accept evolution? That is a question. Some of the believers have difficulty, is in the schools and colleges, this evolution is being taught as a scientific fact. But they fail to understand that it's only a theory. It is only an explanation. And better explanation is there for the creation model also. So I will say something about evolution and the biblical faith. If you read the Bible, the first chapter of the Bible itself says that God created the heavens and the earth and live beings within a small span of time, 6 days. So how it is, how the Bible stands against evolution? I will just tell some of them, if you believers can understand it very easily. The evolution says that, from animals, they improve and it become higher level, and finally human beings are made or evolved. But the Bible says that man was created perfect in the image of God, that is with the power to reason, think, and express emotions and all. And from that perfection, the Bible says that man has gone back because he sinned. Because of sin, his perfect personality has gone down, even though the image is not completely lost. So the Bible speaks about degradation of man from his original creation, but evolution says it is just totally opposite. Then another one, the evolutions proposes struggle for existence and survival of the fittest. These two concepts are against the Bible because, what is struggle of existence mean? Some animals, because they regain some particular characteristics, they have a power over the other organisms, other animals, and they survive. And they struggle. And in the struggle, many of the weak are destroyed or killed. So in the survival of the fittest and struggle for existence, there is a lot of death. There is a lot of waste. There is a lot the strong one fight against the weak one and conquers them. Oh, that is struggle, and God never allows it in the Bible. God is a God of mercy, and God will not use such a means to create human beings or any other living beings. Then another thing is that if one believes in evolution, he has to be, finally, he will tend to atheistic philosophy of life, because in evolution, there is no external intellectual action, the matter itself is supreme, and matter with some of the inherent characteristics evolve, So the matter itself is supposed to be God, and it rules away God. And if one believes in evolution, there is no necessity to believe in God. Evolution sees a man as just a social being, just as they see an ox or monkey or dog. Man is just an animal. So when man is just an animal, a process of evolution, what is the need of morality? What is the need of morality? We don't ascribe morality to dogs or cats or monkeys, but for man and woman, we ascribe morality. That is what is right and wrong. So, if you believe in, if one believes in evolution, finally his sense of morality is gone. But why should I have? I will have my own way. I struggle for my existence. I don't mind what others are happening to me. What I think right is right to me. What you think right to you, it is right to you. So finally, it leads to live as one wants to live because there is no purpose in life. There is no purpose in life. The Bible very clearly says that in Romans chapter 5, verse 12, that through one man, sin and death ended in the universe. For one man, that is Adam. But according to the evolution, for the evolution of man, millions and millions of deaths were necessary, struggle of existence and survival of the fittest. So the belief in evolution leads to purposelessness. See, I want to quote from a very brilliant scientist who was for example, everybody acclaiming him as the highest intellect ever lived in our recent decade, era, Stephen Hawking. I will read I will quote from one of his books, Stephen Hawking's book, the Brief History of Time, A Brief History of Time, chapter 12. One second. Yeah, sorry for a delay, because I want to quote from his own words. He says this. He died recently, a few years ago, purports to be the greatest intellect ever lived in our recent years. He says, the usual approach of science of constructing a mathematical model cannot answer the question why there should be a universe for the model to describe. What he says is, when the scientists create a model for the origin of the universe, they cannot answer the question why there should be a universe, why there should be man, why there should be living beings. Why does the universe go to bother existing? Why does the universe at all exist? Up to now, most scientists are occupied with the development of theories that describe what the universe is. But he says, why the universe exists? Then he concludes like this. If he could discover a complete theory to in time be understandable in broad principles of everyone, not just few scientists, then we all will be able to take part in the discussion. Why is that universe existing? If we find the answer to this question, what is the question? Why this universe exists? I will add to it, why man exists? Why animals exist? Why plants exist? why this earth exists. If we get an answer to that, he says, so it would be the ultimate triumph of reason and philosophy. It will be the ultimate triumph of reason. So these scientists actually laments that even if the scientists can explain give some theories to explain the origin of the universe, they cannot explain why it exists, why human beings exist. So for that, we had to know the mind of God. The mind of God is explained in the Holy Bible. Why he created the universe. Why did he create the earth? So my time is up. My conclusion is this. God cannot use evolution and to create or evolve human beings, or he cannot use evolution because evolution is a process of waste and death and struggle. God cannot use it. And one who believes in evolution, even though he is sincere, will ultimately he will find that his life is purposeless. There is no purpose in life. Why should have the purpose? Because it takes away the meaning of life. So if you have some questions which can be answerable by me, I will try. God bless you with these words.
Thank you very much, Uncle, for explaining very clearly why evolution is wrong and convincing us why creation is right. Thank you for your study and analysis and explanation. We really appreciate your work. Thank you very much, Uncle. Thank you very much. Dear friends, I'm giving you an opportunity to ask your questions. If you have any questions, you can ask our dear guest speaker, Dr.K.Joy David, sir. Please ask your questions. If you have any doubts, clarification, you can ask, or you can say, how is this class also, you can comment. Feel free to say, dear friends, feel free to ask your questions. Your mic is muted, Uncle. Mic is muted. Please unmute it. Mic, unmute it. Not it unmuted, Uncle. So there is a mic symbol. You can unmute it. Hello, friends. Anyone of you having any questions, you can ask